Good morning. Are you Michael Barron? Okay, so Mr. Barron, you've been charged with one count of hit and run. That bond is $1,500, and one count of improper lane change. That bond is $500. So your total bond amount is $2,000. Do you understand what I've mentioned as far as your charges and your bond amount?
Mhm.
I'm sorry, I only respond to words. Okay. All right. Do you believe you'll be able to make bond?
No, ma'am.
Okay, looking at your application for court-appointed counsel, it says you're unemployed, is that right?
Correct.
Okay, so I am appointing an attorney to represent you in this proceeding because you do qualify. Your preliminary hearing date is being scheduled for September 21st, 2021, since these are misdemeanor charges. In the event that you do not bond out and you're still confined, you will be brought before the court to have a hearing on your preliminary charges. Do you have any, on your criminal charges? You have any questions for me, sir?
How long does this go out to? This misdemeanor, what does this go out to? How much time can I be convicted of?
That's something you'll need to talk to your lawyer about. But like I said, these are misdemeanor charges. So you'll have to talk to your lawyer about that option. Do you have any questions about the bond amount or the charges, or are you being appointed a lawyer?
Yeah, can the bond be reduced?
So in determining bond, one thing I look at, Mr. Barron, is the criminal history when determining the bond amount. And based on your criminal history, I'm not inclined to reduce it. One option you can do is if you want to waive your preliminary hearing, that's that September 21st court date. We can waive that court date and you'll be brought before the court a little faster and earlier before September 21st.
I like to waive that because these are misdemeanors. They're not felonies.
No, they're misdemeanors. So if you want to waive it, then what I'll do is I'll indicate to the deputies there to provide you with a waiver form. So if you all can give him a waiver form and send it over to me. Okay. And
Also, Judge,
hang on. Make sure I can read your name on the waiver form. Okay. So make sure it's indicated there clearly. Do you have any other questions about the charges and the bond amount, sir?
So, Judge, I'm being housed in an area where I ain't got no mat, no toothbrush, no toothpaste, no nothing, no cups.
We'll talk to them about that. That's not her concern. It's print your name right now.
Yeah, talk to the deputies about that, sir. And then, like I said, I appointed an attorney to represent you, Mr. Barron. Okay. All right.
Thanks a lot, Judge.
No problem. Have a good day.
Next is Mr. Burton, Isaiah. Burts, Isaiah.
Good morning. Are you Isaiah Burts?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so you have been charged with several offenses, following too closely, reckless driving, theft by receiving stolen property, fleeing and attempting to elude the police, possession of a Schedule I controlled substance in violation of the Georgia Controlled Substances Act, possession of a possession of a weapon during the commission of a crime, use or possession of drug-related objects, improper lane change, and there's another charge of violating the Georgia Controlled Substances Act. So between all of those offenses, your total bond amount is $23,000. Do you understand what I've mentioned as far as your charges and your bond amount?
Yes, ma'am. So this temper.
Let her finish.
Do you believe you'll be able to make bond?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so I have scheduled your preliminary hearing date because there are some felony charges here. Your preliminary hearing date is September 20th, 2021. And I've reviewed your application for court-appointed counsel. I've approved that. So I am appointing an attorney to represent you. Do you have any questions, sir?
Do I have to pay 10% of the bond?
I don't know. What you need to do is contact some bonding companies if you want to use a commercial bond. They have different fees. So you need to ask the bonding companies how much they charge. Just let them know that your bond is $23,000. And so they'll be able to tell you how much you have to pay them, okay?
Okay.
All right, have a good day. Thank you.
Next is Mr. Brown, Bobby. Hey.
Good morning.
Good morning. Are you Bobby Brown?
Yes.
Okay, sir, you've been charged with simple battery That bond amount is $3,000, as well as criminal trespass. That bond amount is $1,500. So your total bond is $4,500. Do you understand what I've mentioned as far as your charges and your bond amount?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so there are some special conditions, Mr. Brown, and that is to stay away and have no contact with Bianca Roberts. And also, you cannot return to 5420 Riverdale Road, Building M, as in Mary, Apartment 10 in Riverdale, Georgia. The warrant did indicate that it was a shared residence, so you can go back within 10 days, accompanied by the sheriff's department, to retrieve any personal belongings that's not in dispute. Do you understand what I've mentioned as far as your bond conditions?
Yes.
Okay, so your preliminary hearing date is being scheduled for September 21st, 2021. And I have approved your request to have a court-appointed attorney, so you will have an attorney represent you on that day. But if you do bond out, that court date will be waived and you'll receive a new court notice in the mail. Just make sure that the court has your current address, okay?
Okay. Another thing. The address you said I can't go back to, this is in my name, it's my apartment. And that's the only resident I have to go to. I don't have nowhere else to go.
I saw on the warrantless arrest affidavit that Bianca Roberts is your living girlfriend. You all have 5 kids and you've been living together for some
We
time.
have 6 kids. We have 6 kids together.
You have 6 kids and you all been living together for some time?
We've been living together 9 years.
Okay. And Ms. Roberts and the 6 kids are at that residence too?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so I'm not going to allow you to go back. Now, what you can do is talk to your lawyer and see if the bond condition can be modified. But given the charges and the circumstances, I'm not going to allow you to go back there, sir. So you're just going to have to stay away until such time that these bond conditions have been modified.
But so that means I'll be outside. I don't have nowhere else to go, man. That's the only,
I understand what you're saying, sir. Those are the bond conditions. Talk to the lawyer that I've appointed to represent you, sir. And maybe the lawyer can work something out for you. Okay? Have a good day, sir.
Next is Mr. Dauphin.
Are you Kawan Dolphin?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, all right. Good morning, and sorry if I mispronounce your name. You've been charged with 1 count of driving under the influence. That bond is $5,000, and improper lane change. That bond is $500. There is a special condition to your bond, and that is to have no consumption of alcohol or illegal drugs. So your total bond amount is $5,500. Do you understand what I've mentioned as far as your charges, your bond amount, and your bond conditions?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you believe you'll be able to make bond?
Yes, ma'am.
I have reviewed your application for a court-appointed attorney. You do qualify, so I am appointing an attorney to represent you. Your next hearing date is your preliminary hearing date, and that's September 21st, 2021. But if you bond out, that date will be waived and you'll receive a new court date in the mail.
Yes,
You
ma'am.
have any questions for me, sir?
No, ma'am.
Okay, have a good day. Thank you.
Thank you, you too.
Your Honor, the ESPEJO, he's a fugitive, so we're gonna do him last. So next up, you have Mr. Ford.
All right, sounds good. Good morning, Mr. Ford.
Good morning, Your Honor.
You've been charged with 1 count of simple assault. That bond is $3,000, and 1 count of disorderly conduct. That bond is $1,500. So your total bond amount is $4,500. Do you understand what I've mentioned as far as the charges and the bond?
Yes,
Do you believe you'll be able to make bond, sir?
I should be able to.
Okay. There is a special condition to the bond, and that is to stay away and have no contact with the alleged victims. That's Tigress Wynn and Desiree Montgomery. Do you understand those conditions?
First time I've ever seen it.
Okay. So as far as the condition, I'm assuming you understand that though, sir, right? Okay. I did review your application for a court-appointed counsel. You do qualify to have an attorney represent you, so I am appointing an attorney to represent you in these proceedings. Your preliminary hearing date, because you're just charged with misdemeanors, is scheduled for September 21st, 2021. But if you bond out, sir, that court date will be waived and you'll receive a new notice in the mail. Do you have any questions for me?
No, ma'am.
Okay, you may be excused. Have a good day.
Next is Mr. Fuse.
Are you Rayshard Fuse? Okay, well, sir, you've been charged with several offenses. There's an impede in traffic, driving while license suspended, no tag, possession of marijuana less than an ounce, possession of a controlled substance in violation of the Georgia Controlled Substances Act, and identity fraud. The total bond amount between all of those charges is $12,000. Do you understand what I've mentioned as far as the charges and the bond amount?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you believe you'll be able to make bond?
Yes, ma'am.
I have reviewed your application for a court-appointed counsel. You make more than the threshold requirement to appoint a lawyer to represent you, sir. So you're going to have to hire your own attorney. Do you plan to hire your own attorney or represent yourself?
On the side.
Okay. All right, your next court date is your preliminary hearing date, and that date is being scheduled for September 20th, 2021. If you do bond out, that court date will be waived and you'll receive a new court date in the mail. Do you have any questions for me, Mr. Fuse? Okay, have a good day. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Next is Mr. Henry.
Are you Khalil Henry?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so sir, you've been charged with possession of carrying a concealed weapon. It's a misdemeanor offense. That bond is $5,000. A violation of a stop sign, that bond amount is $500, and violation of essentially driving distracted is what it's saying, meaning that you violated the hands-free driving law. That bond is $500. So your total bond amount between all of the charges is $6,000. Do you understand what I've mentioned as far as the charges and the bond amount?
Yes, ma'am. I think my bond's already posted.
I don't know that it's already posted because not all of the bonds were preset. Your carrying a concealed weapon was preset at 5,000, but I had to fill in the other two. So you're probably gonna have to post a little bit higher than 5,000 because your bond is $6,000. But you say you'll be able to make bond, you believe?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I have scheduled your preliminary hearing date for September 21st, 2021, since you're charged with all misdemeanors, and I have appointed an attorney to represent you. Do you have any questions for me?
No, ma'am.
Okay, and like I mentioned, if you bond out, that court date will be waived and you'll receive a new notice.
One question. Is my emergency contact, are they gonna be notified about this?
Is your emergency contact going to be what?
Notified about my bond?
Yes, so once we complete the paperwork, whoever is bonding you out, any family members, any contacts, they'll be informed about this bond amount at the end of this hearing, okay? All right, have a good day.
The next is Mr. Izon.
Good afternoon. Are you Ade Eason? Okay, speak up just a little bit for me. I can't hear you.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, now did you complete an application for a court-appointed attorney?
No, ma'am. I didn't get a chance to. I'm sorry.
Okay. So can deputies,
We gave him
Yes.
I'm sorry.
I got it right here, y'all. Whenever
Okay.
he fills it out, I'll send it back at the end of the hearing.
Okay, so Mr. Easton, let me tell you what you've been charged with. You've been charged with battery. Let's see. Yeah, you've been charged with battery. Give me just 1 second.
Yes, he. Run from somebody.
I'm sorry, there's something I need to check with Mr. Eason's file. So, Mr. Eason, I'm gonna have to call you back up. If we can put him to the back of the line while I check on that once I get done. And
Yes,
I'll
ma'am.
call you back up, Mr. Eason.
Yes, ma'am. Next, we have Mr. Johnson, Christopher.
Good morning. Are you Christopher Johnson? Okay, you've been charged with one count of simple battery. That bond has been set at $5,000. Do you understand your charge and your bond amount?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you believe you'll be able to make bond?
Yes, ma'am.
There are special conditions to your bond, and that is to have no contact with Shanice Johnson. And you cannot go back to 1006 Chase Ridge Drive in Clayton County, Georgia. If it is a shared residence, it appears that it is, you can go back within 10 days of being released with the sheriff's department to collect any personal belongings that's not in dispute. Do you understand, Mr. Johnson, what I've mentioned as far as your special conditions?
Yes, Your Honor. Thank you.
Okay, and I do have your application for court-appointed attorney. You do qualify, so I have appointed an attorney to represent you. Your next court date is your preliminary hearing date. That is being scheduled for September 21st, 2021. But if you do bond out like you believe you'll be able to, that court date will be waived and you'll receive a new court notice in the mail. Okay,
Thank
you're
you, Your Honor.
welcome. You're welcome. Have a good day.
Next is Mr. Johnson, Napoleon.
Okay, good morning, sir. Are you Napoleon Johnson?
Good morning to you, Your Honor.
Thank you. You have been charged with one count of possession of marijuana less than an ounce. It's a misdemeanor offense. That bond is $1,500. Do you understand what I've mentioned as far as your charge and your bond amount?
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
Okay,
ma'am.
do you believe you'll be able to make bond?
Yes, ma'am.
I've reviewed your application for a court-appointed attorney. And are you under any obligation to pay child support?
Oh, man, I was the custodial parent. I raised 9 sons by myself. I was a single father.
Okay.
Yes,
Well, I
ma'am.
can, okay. I was reviewing some of the income information you put here, because you make slightly more than the threshold amount, sir, to qualify for a court-appointed attorney. So you will have to hire your own attorney to represent you in this proceeding. Do you believe you're gonna represent yourself or you're gonna try to hire a lawyer?
I work by myself. 'Cause when I'm guilty, I'm guilty. I understand that.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, hang on. Don't go into the facts of it because I don't want you to say anything to hurt your case.
Yeah.
But you said you're probably gonna represent yourself?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I've indicated that, and your scheduled court date is September 21st, 2021. But if you bond out, that court date will be waived and you'll get a new court notice in the mail. You
Yes,
have any
ma'am.
questions, sir?
No, ma'am.
Okay,
Thank
you may be excused. Have a good one.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Next is Mr. Kellum Wayne.
Are you Wayne Kellum Jr.?
Yeah.
Okay, sir, you've been charged with one count of criminal trespass. That bond is $2,000. Do you understand what I've mentioned as far as the charge and the bond amount?
Yes. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so you do have a special condition to that, and that is you cannot go back to 1452 Green Willow Drive in Conley, Georgia. Is that a shared residence?
It is, ma'am.
Okay, so in this instance, I will state here that you can go back within 10 days of being released, accompanied by a sheriff's department or a sheriff's officer to retrieve any personal belongings that's not in dispute. Do you have any questions for me with regards to that condition?
No, ma'am.
Okay.
No.
Okay, so your preliminary hearing date is being scheduled for September 21st, 2021, but if you bond out, that hearing date will be waived. I did review your application for a court-appointed attorney and I have approved it. So I'm appointing an attorney to represent you. All right, you can have a good day, sir.
Thank you. Oh, I got one question. I need to get my belongings so I can pay for it. Like my ID card, like, I mean.
You need to get your money or something so you can pay for it.
My personal belongings, yes.
Okay, so just talk to the deputies there. I don't know their procedure and process, so just let them know that you have some, your card or whatever you need and your personal items, so that way you can bond out. Okay, so talk to them there.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Next is Mr. Long Bennett.
Good morning. Are you Bennett Franklin Long Jr.?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, Your
Okay.
Honor.
You've been charged with 4 counts of theft by deception. Each of those counts carry a bond amount of $2,000, so your total bond is $8,000. Do you understand what I've mentioned as far as your charges and your bond amount?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, Your Honor.
Do you believe you'll be able to make bond?
Yes.
All right, Mr. Long, I did receive your application for a court-appointed counsel, and I have approved your request to be appointed, to have an attorney appointed to represent you. Your preliminary hearing date is being scheduled for September 21st, 2021, because you're charged with just misdemeanors. But if you do bond out like you believe you'll be able to, that court date will be waived and you'll receive a new court notice in the mail. Do you have any questions for me?
No, ma'am.
All right, you may be excused. Have a good day.
Next is Mr. Lathong.
Are you Mr. Thong Lai?
Yeah,
Okay. So Mr. Lai, you've been charged with 1 count of malice murder as well as 1 count of tampering with evidence. I have denied bond on those charges. You will have a bond hearing date set for September 24th, 2021, and you have a preliminary hearing date set for September 20th, 2021. I reviewed your application for court-appointed counsel, and I have approved your request to have an attorney represent you. You have any questions for me, sir?
no, but I'm sorry because I'm English. I don't understand at all, you know, because I need the lawyer speak like Vietnamese. They help me like something. I want to go back to house, and then we clean up the house and the car, everything. I sell.
All right, hold on. It sounds like you're going into what may have happened. I don't want you to talk about what happened, okay? I don't want you to talk about what happened. These are very serious charges. Do you understand that you've been charged with murder? Do you understand?
Yeah, I understand about
Okay, hang on, hold on. My next question, do you understand that you've been charged with tampering with evidence?
I don't understand that because
So hold on, let me finish because you said you didn't understand. So I want to make sure that you understand. So I can read what the warrant says, what the officer said on the warrant. Do you want me to read to you what the officer said on the warrant?
right.
Yes. Okay, hold on. Let me read it to you. So this is for the tampering with evidence charge. It says that on August 6, 2021, at 6671 Peacock Boulevard, Jonesboro, Georgia, you did commit the offense of tampering with evidence, which is a felony, in that you knowingly and intentionally tampered with evidence of a crime by hiding the firearm and spent casing in the chicken coop on your property. and you moved the body of the deceased to the side of the roadway from the backyard of your property. Okay, do you understand what I just read to you?
Yeah.
Okay, all right, so I don't want you to talk any further about that. I just want to make sure you understand. So I've denied your bond, but I am appointing an attorney to represent you. What language do you speak, sir?
Vietnamese.
Vietnamese?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna indicate on here that your native language is Vietnamese, so that way the attorney is aware, okay?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Any other questions about the bond, about the charges and the no bond or your court date?
Yeah, that I need get the lawyer pass a little bit, ma'am. They help me. I want to bond my body.
Okay, hang on. Don't go into any details. I've appointed a lawyer to represent you. At your court date, you will have an attorney, and your attorney will reach out to you before then to talk to you. Okay?
Okay.
Okay. Have a good day.
Next is Mr. Martin.
Good morning. Are you Canars Martin?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, you've been charged with 1 count of criminal trespass. That bond is $1,500. Do you understand what I mentioned as far as your charge and your bond amount?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you believe you'll be able to make bond?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, you do have some special conditions, sir, and that is to stay away and have no contact with Zakia Mitchell while this case is open, and you cannot go back to 5900 Riverdale Road, Building M, Apartment 1 in Clayton County, Georgia. It does indicate that there may be a shared residence, and if so, you can go back within 10 days of being released to retrieve any personal belongings that's not in dispute. Do you understand the bond conditions?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I have reviewed your application for a court-appointed attorney, and you do qualify to have an attorney represent you. So I have appointed one. Do you have any questions for me?
No, ma'am.
Okay, you may be excused. Have a good day.